If you get anything from this video, understand that citizens in Nigeria are literally fighting for their lives, protesting against police brutality, oppression, and corruption in Nigeria. These protests have been worldwide. I'm talking all around the world. And if you had no idea about this, I'm gonna tell you a little bit of background. Now, in 1992, Sars was created, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, created to protect citizens against robbery and kidnapping. But over the years, that mission has been lost and they have been terrorizing its citizens, specifically youth. They've been targeting youth for having dreadlocks, tattoos, piercings, colored hair, fancy technology like AirPods and laptops and fancy cars, iPhones. They've literally been harassing, killing, extorting, stealing, raping citizens on the basis of nothing. And if this doesn't break your heart, I don't know what to tell you. Now, on Sunday, after these global protests, the Inspector General of Police disbanded Sars and created something new called SWAT. The Nigerian people are not satisfied with this. They believe that it's just a rebranding, essentially still doing the same thing. What I'm asking you to do, if you don't watch the rest of the video, is please share the hashtags and SWAT and Sars. Sars must go, SWAT must go. Buhari has been a bad boy. I'm gonna put a list of resources down below for you to share around and learn more things. Talk about it with someone who doesn't know about it. Auntie, share this in your WhatsApp group. Put it on your social medias if you have some. Talk to your kids about this stuff. Talk to your siblings. Talk to people who don't necessarily know. Educate someone, whether they are Nigerian or not. What's happening in Nigeria is revolutionary, and I pray that significant change happens as a result of this. If you're still here, for those of you that don't know, on YouTube, my name is Maria Toyo, and I make YouTube videos. But today is gonna be a more serious video highlighting what exactly has been going on in Nigeria and spreading word on things that you might not necessarily see unless you have Instagram and Twitter. I was born in the States. No, I have never been particularly harassed by SARS. Regardless of this is an important issue that needs to be spread. So I'm using my platform on YouTube to help spread the word, help keep this movement going, and to show the youth in Nigeria, the citizens in Nigeria who are literally fighting for their lives, that people here are in support of what they're doing. I applaud them for what they're doing. The strength that it takes, people are literally getting shot at for peacefully protesting back home. For what? For what? So sad to think about. It's about time that things change. I really just want to use this video to disseminate information and to educate those who don't exactly know what's going on. If there's some things you already know, you can skip through the video, you can click off. I really don't mind. I'm breaking this video up into certain subtopics. I'll even have it below, and I'll have my time cards here to tell you exactly what I talk about at exactly each time. So the first thing I want to talk about is just a little bit about the background of SARS, and then talk about exactly what they've been doing and what started the movement, what's going on right now, what new policies have been put in place, and the demands that those who are protesting are looking for, and then ways that you can help, ways that you can donate, ways that you can spread the word. Also, I've noticed if you don't have Instagram, if you don't have Twitter, you're not necessarily seeing these stories that people are sharing. You're not really hearing about the accounts of the people who have lost their lives. So I'm gonna be sharing that as well. If it's too much for you, please, 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 please exit out of the video if it's too much. I'm not gonna be showing anything of someone getting killed or blood or anything too graphic, but some of these stories that I will be sharing may be personal to some people and they may be too much. And if it's too much, exit out. It's okay, it's understandable. At a certain point, I will have warnings. I will be having warnings so you can protect your mental health. You can protect your mental state if it's too much for you. All right, let's get into this with the background. So SARS, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, was created back in 1992 to protect citizens against armed robbery and kidnapping. That was their main goal. They kind of have like this faceless nature where you don't necessarily know that these people are SARS until you interact with them. However, over time, they have been targeting Nigerian citizens. They often look for people who are well dressed, having AirPods and jewelry and tattoos and piercings and laptops and iPhones and nice cars. What they would do is harass, extort, beat up, jail, steal from them, rape people, and even kill people. This has been going on for years. Many of the people that they target are between the ages of 18 and 35. Now, on Sunday, October 11th, The IGP, the Inspector General of Police, disbanded Sars and created SWAT. Many people do not believe that this is the answer. They don't feel like this will solve the problem and it's not going to hold people accountable. There are a lot of things that the IGP went into, but just a little bit about the things that they went into is that the new people who are meant to be in SWAT are going to have to go through physical training tests, undergo psychological and medical examination, and being retrained. This does not exactly highlight the problem. Nowhere does it say that it's going to hold those rogue officers accountable. The people want there to be an end to police brutality, period. Not some rebranding of whatever they want to call it. A common thing is that politicians in Nigeria will throw out words, say that they're in support of the people and this and that, but then they don't follow through with the action. They kind of just give the people a little crumb and are not really about the work. In actuality, SARS has been disbanded several times. 2017, 2018, 2019. You would think some prominent change has happened, but no. People are still being killed, harassed, raped. Must I go on? I'm gonna go over the 5 demands that the protesters are asking for. I'm gonna be reading it from my laptop. Immediate release of all arrested protesters, number 1. Number 2, justice for all deceased victims of police brutality and appropriate compensation for their families. 3, setting up an independent body to oversee the investigation and prosecution of all reports of police misconduct within 10 days. Number 4, in line with the new Police Act, psychological evaluation and retraining to be confirmed by an independent body of all disbanded SARS officers before they can be redeployed. Number 5, increase police salary so that they are adequately compensated for protecting lives and property of citizens. Many people believe that part of the reason why these officers harass and steal from these people that they're meant to protect is because they don't earn enough. Simply put, they don't earn enough. They do not earn enough. The people that earn a lot of money in Nigeria are the ones in power, the president, the senators. But that's for another video. Police brutality should not be the norm. Fighting for your life should not be the norm. The next part of the video, I'm gonna be sharing stories of those who have been murdered by SARS police. Then I'll show videos of the protests in Nigeria, and you'll hear some of the things that citizens have had to say. Then I'll share stories of those who have been harassed by the police. And last but not least, one thing about Nigerians is that they know how to turn a bad situation into a good situation. So I'll share some of the positive things that have come out of these protests and some of these videos that shows that there is hope for this movement and that there is hope for Nigeria. Remember, at any time, if this becomes too much for you, it is okay to click off. It is okay to take a break. It is okay. Do not force yourself to watch this stuff. So that I do not disrespect these names and mispronounce them, I'm gonna be putting them on the screen and then reading from the stories on my laptop. 28 years old, had just finished National Youth Service and was planning her wedding. SARS arrested her in Abuja. No one could locate her. Next day, her family got called to come pick up her corpse. She was sexually assaulted and killed. This was September 11, 2020. 31 years old, returned from studies abroad and started a government job with NEPA. Police overtook her on her way home. Police overtook her, ripped bullets into her Honda Accord tires, and a bullet hit her. She died on her way to the hospital. 21 years old, played football for Remo Stars. He had just gotten invited to play football in Sweden. SARS picked him despite showing his club ID. When he was asked where they were headed, a SARS operative pushed him out of the bus and an incoming car crushed him. Was a governor's cook at the governor's residence. As SARS tortured him to death for a missing TV he couldn't have stolen, his last wish was to see his child. Born on the day they killed him, the baby never saw her dad. The former relationship manager with the First Bank of Nigeria Limited was shot dead by a policeman in the early hours of October 1st, 2008. Murdered by the police, they burned his car to make it appear like a fatal accident. On October 3rd, 2020, A team of Sars allegedly killed a young man on Saturday. The incident occurred in front of the Wetland Hotel in Delta State. Sars shot a 15-year-old girl, Adenike, in 1996. Sars was founded late 1992. Their senseless violence, harassment, and killings didn't start today. On July 7, 2019, was unlawfully arrested and beaten by the police. He was coming back from a set he was filming. He was bleeding in his left eye and they left him in the cell like that. He died in his sleep. Was killed by Sars and they deposited his corpse in the mortuary without informing his family. He left Uniport campus after a test to withdraw money from a bank's ATM on the 13th of March 2019. Sars brutalized and murdered him. These are just a few of the people who have been murdered by the police in Nigeria. There are so many people that have not gotten national attention. So many of those who lost their lives that we don't know about. So many of those that their families are still looking for them. They don't know where they are. And let's not even talk about those people who have been harassed and beaten, made it out alive, but are scarred for life, wondering if they're gonna make it home tomorrow because police are terrorizing them. For what? If this doesn't make you sick, upset, sad, it's a lot to hear. It's a lot to digest. And I'm gonna share videos of people who have been protesting, videos of what some government officials have been saying, some citizens have been saying. I think it's better when you're able to see firsthand accounts from people who are on the grounds protesting for their lives.
We're all one. And I feel like they're angry because we're coming out here as lazy Nigerian youths to ask to protest because it's our right to exercise now. Why are you shooting at us? Why are you shooting at us? I mean, just started though. We just said we will still tackle Buhari. He has been a bad boy. He has been a bad boy. I was coming, I live in Okota and I was coming here. The roads are bad. No lights. Education, zero. And we are just asking for you to stop killing us. We just want to live.
Because I've been arrested by Sars 5 times. So for me, this is my reality. And this was between 2019 and 2020. I'm a young man that's an entrepreneur in Lagos that runs events, so I'm always out every single night. I throw parties, and then automatically I'm already under the radar because they generalize that I'm a Yahoo boy, they generalize I'm a thug, they generalize I get my money illegally when I work hard for my money. Because I have earrings, because I have a beard does not label me a Yahoo boy. Because I have a laptop, I'm not a Yahoo boy. Because I have a car, I'm not a Yahoo boy. Yet, what I experience is what every single young person goes through.
My brother and his 2 friends were taken since 2007, and we have not found them.
Protesters have been assaulting security agents,
Jesus is Lord.
Officers of the Nigerian force.
Jesus
Many of
is
them
Lord.
have been attacked and injured by hoodlums who are hiding under
Jesus
the guise
is Lord.
of protest. Protest gradually turning into anarchy. Fake news on protest and other unfounded stories. Since the protest started, there have been high level of fake news on social media to create unnecessary tension, pitching Nigerians against the government and creating civil disobedience to law and order.
We asked for a peaceful protest. We actually came for a peaceful protest, but they killed my brother. Now this is it. There's nobody against the law. The government has succeeded in killing my brother. We need to settle this case in world court because it was a peaceful protest.
How would they slap? What did she do? What did I do wrong? I'm a Nigerian. I'm a free citizen. I have the right to go to police station. I am not a criminal.
SWAT in Jesus' name! SWAT in Jesus' name! Remove!
They're coming after us. They're not going after cultists. They're not going after armed robbers. They're going after hard-working youths. We do not have to work in companies that you're aware of. Many of us are entrepreneurs. Many of us are freelancers. Stop asking us how we can afford the phones we use, the cars we drive. We work hard. Go and work hard, stop harassing us, stop extorting us. That's all we want. And that's why we're here right now, because we want SARS to stop.
Hey, stop there. Where you dey go? Open your phone. Enter motor. Killer you, killer the far. After schedule, when you do transfer, say no. End SARS.
My mom is a police officer, but I am standing against the police brutality. I am not standing against police as a whole. End police brutality. We have a voice. We voted you in. Stand for us.
Yes. We don't want them.
Let them leave our children.
Let them leave us.
Is nothing.
The day Nigeria wakes up, Africa will never be the same again.
I'm gonna read stories of people who have been being harassed by SARS and more broadly police officers in Nigeria. These stories have been shared on Twitter and on Instagram. I was 16 when I was arrested by the police for walking on the road with two of my friends who were guys. They said I was a prostitute and the guys were my customers. My cousin was arrested by SARS in 2016 for eating in a restaurant. They caught him a thief and held him for 2 months without charging him to court or anything. Both times, huge amounts of money had to be paid, even though no offense was committed. I was stopped by SARS officials on a bike with a cooler of food for my sister that had just given birth and was still in the hospital. They took my phone, searched it, and said I was taking food to go and meet my boyfriend. First of all, is that even a crime? They saw condoms in my guy's wallet and arrested him for, wait for it, arrested him for fornication. I was coming home from work on Friday, dressed in native attire. They gave us lunch at the office that I couldn't eat and decided to take it home, only for SARS to stop me and keep saying I'm coming from a herbalist place, that the food inside my bag is a concussion. A classmate told me of a guy in my school who went to collect palm oil to cook beans. They, SARS, accused him of trying to use the oil to worship devil and asked him to drink the oil and was forced to pay $20K. My friend's mother was dying. SARS stopped them at the checkpoint and asked they pay $50K before they released them. She didn't have that amount of money on her and they refused to let their car move. And that's how her mother died. 2019, SARS stopped me and my ex-boyfriend. After searching us, they found an unused pad in my bag and started asking me, what was I doing with the pad? They delayed us for hours, asking why I had always Ultra in my bag. Pad? As a young lady, they saw a condom in my wallet and said that I was using this to rape girls. I was visiting my friend at Maryland and was arrested around 8:50 p.m. I showed them my ID that I was just leaving work, but they insisted I was a cultist. I smiled and I got a dirty slap. They requested for $100K as I work in a bank. Fast forward, I spent the night in a cell. I was on my way back from a party with my boyfriend when we were stopped at a checkpoint by SARS. They asked my boyfriend several questions before he was asked to come down from the car. Everything they asked to see, he provided. They had no reason to hold him, and it was making me angry. They took his phone. They started asking him for money. Why are you driving at this time of night? You sure you're not a Yahoo boy? You sure she's not a prostitute? I tried to record the whole thing when one of them saw me and said, if I'm not careful, they'll finish me for here. There's nothing anyone will do. Eventually, my boyfriend settled them after they went through his account balance and we left. I and my cousin were walking to a store on Saturday. All of a sudden, a bus pulled up on us. Thinking it was a regular commercial bus, we had no reason to panic until two of the occupants came down and accosted us, asking for our identity, which we gave them. Next thing, they asked for our phones. I refused to budge initially until one cocked his gun and threatened to deal with me, after asking if I didn't value my life. They went through my regular message log, then they went through my WhatsApp and my pictures. They accused me of being a fraudster and asking who the Oyibo I was talking to was. I told them she was my friend and the other was my cousin's girlfriend. Then they asked us to enter their van. They refused to give us our phones. While they kept harassing other young people passing by, my cousin had to bribe them. This is after requesting for $50K each. We eventually had to part with a little over $10K just to avoid being another statistic. Even if you're lucky enough to not have been killed, there's so much torment that you face. For what? There's no basis. Again, these are just some stories that were broadcasted. There's thousands of stories out there that are not broadcasted that we don't know about. Yes, I know this video has been draining. I know it has not been the most positive video, but I do want to shed light on some of the positive videos of the protests. If you're here, if you made it to this part, make sure that you do your part. Make sure that you do your part wherever you are. If you can afford to donate, I'll put some links down below. If you have social media, share the word. Use hashtags. SARS must go and SWAT. Keep on posting about what's been going on. Don't let it die. If you haven't posted at all, this is your time to post. The more you post, the more that this message spreads out. The more that protesters feel like they are being supported. The more that it gets international attention, more pressure put on the government to act right. If you don't have social media, share what's been going on with a friend, a family member, somebody new. If you are able to protest, there are protests happening all across the world. Follow certain accounts to see exactly where to protest. If you're in a certain location and you're looking for a protest, I will help you find a protest to go to. Be careful and stand up for what's right. Nigerians are tired. This is not okay by any means. It's so important to make sure that these goals of these protests are met. It's so important that we do not let this protest and the message that they're trying to get across die, because if things go back to normal, things go back to how they used to be, it really shows that even speaking up, protesting for your life doesn't work. It shows that these politicians, these police officers are out of control and that they honestly can do whatever they want and the people just have to suffer. That's not right at all. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for staying to the end if you made it this far. I know this wasn't the easiest thing. I hoped that you were touched by a story or you learned something new. Be sure to let someone know about what is going on in Nigeria today. Thank you.